All right, guys. So we want you out of business. You and us, everybody. We want everybody out of business, and we are here to help you out. So the first video was very well received, where we're talking about the video posted on one of the FreightWave segment about how it's too many owner-operators, carriers, too many trucks on the road, and somebody needs to go out of business for market correction, and we can't wait to do that. And here we are on a different team, so we are here on your team, and we're going to push back a little bit, and we're going to tell you how not to go out of business.
Different perspective. But before we do, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, my people. It keeps the energy flowing.
Yes. So one of the aspects that we're going to be talking about here is the cost of swapping the carrier, because that's costing a lot of money to you. And at the end of the day, the grass is always greener on the other side. Recently, we got quite a few people contact us like, "Hey guys, do you want to do like FEMA freight or military freight? It usually pays like 2-3 times the normal rate."
Yeah, but in this business, you always see that all the time, man. Like, not everything that shines is gold. And these guys call in or they email with such conviction, like, "Hey, man, this is military loads that, this is it. Like, hey, you think you hit the mother load? Like, I don't know, we're delivering
I already know this. I've been around the block for a minute. So I used to mess with these guys always like, hey, 2-3 times of zero is zero. Send me a rate. Let's talk about real money, real miles. And if there is money in there, sure, absolutely. We will be more than happy to do it. So yesterday, I just got one of those offers, and I just brought it up just to make fun of it. So this guy sends me an email. I have a military load for tomorrow. Wanted to see if you had any interest. So driver must be a citizen and with real ID card. That's normal procedure going in a military basis. TWIC card, 2 forms of ID, driver license, birth certificate, or passport, and able to pass a simple background check, no felonies. Pick up in Dallas at 8 a.m. on one day, and delivering in East Camden, Arkansas at 1500 hours. Military time.
Okay.
And the total mileage, I did run the miles. That obviously does not include the deadhead because I don't have a truck to even test that. I just run no deadhead, assuming your truck is right there. So it picks up right in Dallas, East Camden, 268 miles. Guess how much? How much is 2-3 times normal rate?
Let's do 1,500.
That's ours, man.
That's the delivery time.
Man, we want to move it for $550. So that's a no-go. That's a no-go. We're gonna have to find themselves somebody cheaper than us. All right, so let's go. Enough of fun and games. Again, just to make a point, the grass is always greener on the other side. We've seen a lot of owner-operators, when we have to go, it's time for people to go sometimes. And we say, oh, I'm going to go do military freight, this, that. Most of that is BS. I've been around the block long enough to know that. You may get lucky here and there for a load or two, but you can get lucky here and there with a load and two, doing regular dryvan freight, not dealing with none of that. And one thing that I know about the military, pretty slow to load. And offload, because we are on the government payroll. Nobody is rushing anywhere. All right, so let's talk about the cost of switching the carriers. Cost of switching carriers, couple of things that you need to consider. You want to cut down on the cost, right? So if you're a guy that's jumping around the carriers, you want to have your own plate.
Yeah, for sure, because that's going to be a constant thorn in your side. You're going to save money, so it's about saving where you can. So remember, a little bit of backdrop on this: the national average of turnover rate in this industry right here hovers at that 91%. So it's
which means 91 driver out of 100 drivers hired will walk.
Yeah. And I wonder and is it 30, 60, 90 days? What's the threshold now?
Right now, I remember back in the day, it was like 90 days when it went down to 60. Now, I don't know. I don't want to quote, but I'm pretty sure it's probably closer to 30. And one very interesting factor is that the turnover rate does not really depend on the market conditions. So for some of you guys that's been around since 2020 or earlier than that, and you've been through the really, really good market, the turnover rate was the same, but within a few percentage points.
Yeah.
So I guess the market has nothing to do with that. It's just like, in general, it's a tough job, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of those guys are even exiting the business, the industry rather. You're going to have turnover rate, but it's they stay within it.
Well, but I think we kind of we move around quite a bit looking for that greener grass. And until we either give up or run out of options. Because again, this is what we're here to talk about, running out of options. If you're bouncing between carriers, you got to make it count.
Yeah.
If you don't make it count, here's your cost. Plates. Let's say if you're getting plates through the carrier, here at Voyager, $2,000. Usually we see plates anywhere between, where did they have my notes here?
It's about that.
Okay, so plates is anywhere between like $1,700 and $2,600, give or take. A lot of times, if it's on the lower end, it's going to have fees attached to it. Transfer fee, this fee, that fee, whatever. Here at Voyager, we run just plain numbers. We want to keep it super simple, no fees, no BS, 2,000, flat, boom, we're good. No extra fees of any sort. So now if you're bouncing between 4 carriers through a year,
that's going to be
$8,000.
Yep.
Give or take, using our average, $8,000, which you're going to dump. So if you're running through the carriers like crazy, like you love them all, make sure that you have your own plate so you don't have to be leaving $2,000 behind every time you bounce.
Yeah, because it gets a little difficult, out of sight, out of mind. I guess just when you see it deducting from your settlement, you kind of tend not to feel it, as opposed if it came out that savings account. But at the same time, guys, like another cost there is not even hidden, but your bobtail insurance and your physical damage. If you're using the carrier's physical damage and bobtail, yes, it's convenient for deducting it out of the settlement, whether you're doing it weekly, monthly, however you got it set up. But every time you switch, that's another transition. That's another added cost. So that's another thing that you can do on your own. True North is a lot of the guys, don't work for them, nothing like that. Not endorsing them. I just think it's a good product. Jump on that, and it's your personal policy. You never have to worry about when you're transitioning that you don't have insurance.
A new down payment again and again and again. And if some guys are switching once a month for real, so that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be left behind. And I think the biggest issue is not so much that people want to leave this money behind. I think the issue is that people not asking enough questions.
Yeah. You have to ask the questions that are going to matter and impact you, right? So I definitely agree with that.
And a lot of times, we go to a carrier where the grass is greener on the other side, but for the most part, if you don't change nothing else, just the carrier, for the most part, you're going to get same results, and you're going to get frustrated again and frustrated again and frustrated again. And that brings us to the second point. The deposit, escrow deposit that covers any incidentals, any insurance claims that may happen after, that may, the carrier may learn about them after you left the company already. Mm-hmm. So we have to have that deposit. Usually carriers have deposits anywhere from $1,000 to $4,500. Depends on the carrier, depends on the trucking type that we do. Now, if you, let's just say, again, the average $1,500, $2,000 per deposit, that's a lot of money to leave behind. And if you're bouncing very often, by the time you're joining a third or fourth carrier, you only get a deposit release from the first carrier.
Yeah.
That's a massive choke point for your cash flow.
Exactly. And then what happens is, doing this for a long time, and usually the deposits, guys that have their own plates and own insurance, it minimizes that struggle because they're not at that level of frustration where they need that money to down payment to get another insurance. They need that money to get onto some kind of plate program. It's already been settled. So it's a better position to be in.
Because a lot of guys, like the deductions are very minimal. When somebody comes in who has their own bobtail insurance, who has their own plates, the deductions are very minimal. We just have to collect that deposit through 10 settlements, and that's all.
Yeah.
That's all. It's nice and clean. When you start adding plates and everything else, it's more. And now if you're bouncing, that's just more money that gets entangled into something that shouldn't be entangled. You need that money. to survive in a tough market. You need that money to repair your truck. You need that money to run your business.
Right, because if somebody is luring you in because the percent payout is a lot nicer and pay sign and drive plates, all that stuff. If you're getting lured in for that, but we're not asking the hard questions like how much money can I make here? What is the process? What is your dispatch work like? It's kind of funny because we go back to freight waves. They'll do like whole thing of like why turnover? What drivers are looking for? You want to be known as a name, not a number, and stuff like that. And I don't get me wrong, man. I believe in humanity. It's there. It's valid, but it's not everything. It's not everything because if a guy is making money and the company that you're going to go work for is diligent and their core mission statement, their mission is to make you money so they can make money. I think your business is in a better position.
I think there is a lot of disconnected people screaming from the towers, just like, "Oh, we love you all." At the end of the day, I never seen an owner operator who joined Voyager and he was like, "Man, I just want to be known as Johnny, the super trucker. I want to feel positive. I want like positive vibes of my dispatcher." I never met that. I've seen people that I want to make more money. I want to do better. I want to grow my business. That's all valid points. So I think those totally disconnected people, again, like screaming from their downtown towers. These people, we don't know any better. We just think, oh, hugs and fluffies and, we all love each other. And yes, we love each other. We're on the same team, but we're here for money. You're here for money. Everybody's here to be effective.
And there you go, because you can resolve a lot more problems with some cash flow than you can without.
Yeah. What's a hug worth? I've heard that,
depends who's hugging you.
No. I've heard that, crying in the Mercedes is a lot more comfortable than crying on the bicycle.
Yeah, especially if it's raining.
So at the end of the day, guys, money talks. That's what's important. Okay, now let's get to the point where we're talking about if you have to switch a carrier, because we by no means are saying that you have to be stuck with a bad carrier.
No, that's not what it's about.
Make it count. Make it the last switch. Do the homework. First of all, you gotta not bullshit yourself. You gotta know exactly what work you're mostly comfortable with. What type of work are you willing to do? You know how to do. You are good at it. So, for example, here we do dryvan. We are professionals in the dryvan. This is all we do, and we're good at it. And simple as that. Also, consider this: if you wanna go join a company that does only local work, here you can do anything. But there are some companies that are local specific, right? There is no way in the world that the guy, and maybe you are that guy that's running coast to coast all over the place, making top dollar, and now you decided, you know what, I'm going to move to Florida, I'm going to get a local job, I'm tired of snow, but I want to make the same money. It's not going to happen. So you have to be realistic because you need to ask the people that in the company with you joining, hey, what is that I'm going to be doing? We're going to tell you what you're going to be doing. Ask them, who's your most successful people? And what do they do to make that?
Yeah, even sample settlements. Do that sit down, be old school, sit down with that recruiting department. Ops, man, it doesn't matter. Just walk into the building and ask for that settlement check, the last 3-4 settlement to check the consistency, to make sure the guy is getting a load a day or 2 loads a day, or you're validating whatever they told you.
And also don't get lost in the sauce to where, a lot of people are going to see 1 good load or 2 good loads and we're like, okay, yeah, I can do that. No, it comes in the package, man. Like, if the load from Ohio to Texas and, Texas to Denver is paying really, really well, what happened to Florida to Ohio and what happened from Denver coming out?
Yeah, look at that. And that's why I think the beauty about having those meetings is so important because you let the facts do the talking. All the answers there. If you've been around the block, you know how to read a settlement, and you're going to see how the loads are connecting, and that's reality. And then that's what's real.
So again, learn from people in the trenches. Learn from people that you're planning to work with. Ask them, okay, how can I be successful here? And listen to what they got to say. If you join them, before you get frustrated and bounce, go back to them. Let's say you're not making enough money. Be like, hey, I'm not making it. What am I doing wrong? Because when I signed up, you said I can make this. Because here, if you're not making enough money, we're probably going to tell you straight up why.
Yeah.
There is probably some reasons that we can control, others that you can control.
Yeah, and then because to your point, there's a lot of guys that'll say, oh man, look at reefer, look at that gross number, and like I can make so much more doing that reefer. But what do you take home? Is it the same? Is it not the same?
What do you take home? It's again, what miles do you run? What options do you have? And also, what type of work is it? Like reefer night deliveries all the time, multiple deliveries, cold warehouses, and so on. Man, I remember I've done my portion of reefers. I can make same money doing dryvan a lot more easier. I'm not saying I'm gonna make more money, but I'm definitely not making less money, and I'm working a lot easier.
No, and don't get it twisted. We're saying there's people that make good livings doing reefer, doing flatbed, doing this.
Yeah, but that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's their expertise. So the idea is like, where will you thrive? That's what you have to look into. So not just that top gross number because you fall in love with that idea and then you go there and hate the work. Now you're going to want to change the formula inside to try to make it, it becomes complicated.
Yeah, always see what you're bringing home, not the other way around. And make sure you're comfortable with that type of work that the company is doing. Make sure you're comfortable with the work that is required to be done to achieve a certain example settlement. Mm-hmm. And be a student. Learn, stay in the trenches because the trucking company is not your enemy. No. Trucking company does not want to hire nobody who's going to fail. The trucking company want everybody to succeed.
Yeah, because let's go back, right? Well, we do know facts, turnover rate, 91%. So it's not just one-sided why people are jumping and switching and all of that. How can we control this and break the vicious cycle? How much control do you really have? As an owner-operator, it's basically educating yourself about where you're going to onboard, asking the hard questions like Mike was talking about, and perspective. I know we talk about that a lot of time where you have to be able to take the reality of where you're going to, look at the numbers, ask the realistic, even the miles that the guy is doing, like ask those hard questions in orientation, even if you get it there. Remember, you didn't sign on that line just yet, right? So this is the time to really explore so you have a good perspective. How much money can I make here, and is it worth the jump? Yeah,
and be realistic. Again, don't let any loads disappear in between. Don't let them to hand you just the good loads, and then what about the connecting loads? What happened to that? Learn from your dispatcher. Be like, hey, bro, what do I need to be a top earner? What needs to happen? Most dispatchers are going to tell you, I need you to run like this, like that, like that, like that. And everything is possible. So pick the type of trucking that that you're most comfortable about. Learn it. Make sure you always update it. You're always on top of what's going on in the market. Communicate with your dispatcher, with your office team, and everyone is there to help. Bouncing companies is not a solution because, again, if you're going to do some of that military freight that pays 2-3 times of normal rate, here's an example for you. So
delivering warheads.
Yes. So anyway, guys, if this is a time for you to swap a company, make sure you keep Voyager on the top of your list. 863-342-5171. If you're Florida-based owner-operator, we're here to help you. We are here to be on your team. If you have a settlement from another company that you're not quite making, why don't you bring it over here and we can look at it and we can discuss. Hey, if you do this here, this is what you make. If you was working here, we would make those adjustments. We would suggest you would do this, this, and that. And be in the know. And then you don't have to sign up for nothing.
There you go.
Maybe you can learn something and go back to the carrier of whatever carrier you work for and start making more money just because you got more information.
Yep. So regardless of FreightWave's advice, we are looking to stay in business and we are looking to keep you in business as well. So push forward.
Yeah, we can't stay in business if you guys go out of business. So FreightWave, no bueno. All right, guys, stay safe and we'll talk to you on the next video.